The latest sequel to Predator, directed by Shane Black and which has met with mixed reviews, left me no choice but to review the hierarchy of the Predator mythology. A handful of films starring the space hunter, plus his two confrontations with the deadly xenomorphs of Alien. So make sure to stick with me to the end. So, without any further delay, let's get into the video. All the movies in the Predator saga ordered from worst to best. The Predator is one of the most recognizable cinematic monsters, having taken on everyone from Arnold Schwarzenegger to the titular beast of the Alien movies. While the franchise has had its share of ups, it has also seen its fair share of downs. Before the release of the Predator movie, Prey, here is a rating of each of the Predator movies so far. Predator. A year before director John McTiernan decided to crash the office Christmas party with Die Hard, he delivered another genre-crossing action flick in 1987 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Predator was a commando clashing with the modern-day Alien that helped fire off the 80s in such a big bang. The franchise, marked as another success for Schwarzenegger at the height of his career, was one that differed significantly from the other franchises he named after him. The Predator ended up being the biggest draw, rather than the opponents he was up against, like space-age Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. With 3 sequels and some pretty disappointing crossover spin-offs that want to stay unseen, comics and video games, fans have gone wild for these poachers, eager to add human skulls to their trophy cases. Then, Prey became the latest addition to the film franchise, exploring a new chapter in the Predator universe that we have known about for a long time but have never seen. But where does Dan Trachtenberg's potential franchise savior stand compared to other Predator movies? There are many things that follow your favorite hunters waving their spines in the air as if they don't care. Predator almost killed the franchise. On paper, Shane Black's The Predator shouldn't have gone wrong. The writer of movies like Lethal Weapon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, who also directed Iron Man 3 and The Nice Guys, was a perfect fit. Add the fact that he not only starred but was the original screenwriter, he hoped that someone with the actual history of the franchise would care. Seen by viewers as the franchise's underdog, Rotten Tomato, Black's contribution rounds out the useless cast with stories that are overly funny in some areas and completely tone-deaf in others about a neurodevelopmental disorder. Relying on this search might have been a better option. If Thomas Jane's Tourette character isn't being used as a joke, it's Jacob Tremblay as Holbrook's on-screen autistic son, lowering the criteria to intelligent. Overall, it was a futile attempt to revive the franchise that sent the Predator down the wrong path. Even with its cliffhanger ending, and ultimately 20th Century Studios was unwilling to move forward. Up next, Predator 2 is a space-age slasher. The pressure is always higher when it comes to the continuation of the first film in the hope of inspiring a franchise too. The brain behind the movie stated that when he dared to drop the legendary alien hunter, he had a fever. The idea of an immediate sequel to Predator taking the alien into concrete jungle wasn't particularly original. It had already been rehearsed in the first Dark Horse miniseries about the character, but it had personality in abundance. An unlikely hero, Danny Glover, as a policeman whose move from the Predator massacring drug traffickers, catching him old and tired, and a hot, suffocating Californian climate that in effect turned the city into a real jungle. Box office failure and some misunderstanding from fans relegated the film for years to being nothing more than the movie in which the alien's skull comes out, and was considered a failed proposal. Time has put it in its rightful place as a highly original derivative of the original, with a unique setting and violence that rivals the classic, to claim urgently. What about Alien vs. Predator? A film that should arouse more sympathy due to its very assumed condition of Series B that only wants to face 2 creatures that it clearly sees as powerful forces of nature and whose clash in the form of galactic wrestling turns us into insects. The 2007 follow-up to the first crossover movie, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, is not exactly a mess. The story is actually quite simple. The Predator ship from the first movie crash lands in a small town in Colorado, unleashing the misnamed Predalien. a hybrid alien and predator, on the unsuspecting populace. Paul W.S. Anderson keeps everything, the ambition, the space, the plot, very contained, and rolls with a good pulse, drinking as much from the thunderous pseudoscience theories that affirm that the pyramids were built by aliens as from H.P. Lovecraft and his In the Mountains of Madness. The result is nice and modest. You don't need to invent new species of monsters because with the ones that exist and a good alien queen is enough. Aesthetically, very powerful. The use of CGI is discreet and functional, and there are plenty of practical and tasty effects, giant rubber dolls, and along the way manages to increase the mythology of the Predator. Unfortunately, all his proposals were left out of canon so as to not contradict the Alien franchise. As an apocryphal entertainment, yes, it is excellent. Predators is a sequel that never sleeps. Much like the murderous monster that the film is named after, Predators somehow feels like a highly underrated entry in the franchise, and it's one of the only movies that stands shoulder to shoulder with the original. With a team of strangers marooned on an alien planet used as a hunting reserve, he soon deduces that he and the other ruthless killers are the prey of an alien hunting expert, a trio of super predators, descending on the planet's newest visitor and some impressive ones. The battle for survival ensues as you prepare for an almost iconic showdown. In addition to pulling out all the stops for a role few people expected him to, Brody played Lawrence Fishburne as a deranged loner hiding from fur-loving aliens. He appears as a survivor. Topher Grace also appears as a presumed lame duck in a group, which turns the entire movie upside down in the best way possible. While unabashedly incorporating homages to the source material, Nimrod Antol's directorial effort is incredible. Complete with alien sniffer dogs, Danny Trejo's brief but goofy appearance, and sword-wielding Yakuza taking on predators. The result is not perfect, but it is very juicy. The idea that all humans are murderers, or not, is interesting. And above all, the intention to feed the predator mythology with various clans and non-human species facing the hunters. The result is quickly forgotten. But the frantic hour and a half of fast-paced fun with plot twists every 10 minutes is worth the applause. If there's one chapter worth revisiting in a sequel, even one that might have created another alien crossover, it's this one. Next is Prey. Prey is the bright and bloody future of the Predator franchise. Anticipating Nimrod Antol's epic equivalent of Predator and preserving that franchise, Prey is truly the best addition to the series since it began. Set nearly 300 years before John McTiernan's original, Dan Trachtenberg's take on the legendary creature bleeds as before, while being cut to an entirely different pattern. This explores not only the thrill of the hunt that has kept fans hooked since 1987, but a much deeper story that even the Arnie installments never thought to venture into. Amber Midthunder is Naru, a young and avid Comanche hunter. Naru has not yet been accepted by the tribes as she wants to be. As a result, this key plot element modifies past tropes established by the franchise itself. Fighting makes the fight between the two hunters more important. Add in the cultural depiction that Native Americans have rarely been seen in action movies of the past, and we find that Prey quickly traverses targets we never thought to mark. To sum it up, Predator remains the cold-blooded classic that it started it all. It may be in the gritty machismo of the 80s, but Predator remains the franchise's trophy winner for being a first and redefining what an action movie could be in its time. Standing. Finish off with Ernie in an unimaginable battle for survival. Predator anoints several action man icons of the time and deftly rips them apart. From classic quotes to some incredible action scenes, the highlight is always Stan Winston's incredible creature designs, as famous as Ernie's own Terminator. Another Winston special. Initially Jean-Claude Van Damme dressed as a very different beast, but the decision to cast Kevin Peter Hall as a major threat in the Austrian oak felling turned out to be a game changer. A masked alien invader who can be capricious and invisible didn't just change the movie, he unimaginably changed cinema forever. It's no exaggeration to say that Prey follows in the footsteps of the John McTiernan classics, but when it comes to controversies over Predator being the underdog, I think that's not far from the truth. So that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, see you next time.